Hi, Carol here. Welcome to my craft room. And I thought I would take you through this card I did for World Card Making Day. And I did it for the challenge Maps. So I want to start out with black soot. I'm going to make a night scene for behind the actual challenge card. And I find that if you want to do a night sky, starting with the black soot at the top. Now, I started movement, but I thought, you know what, I want this very black. So I take my little cube and I do direct to paper. Then I will come in and take it down to the upper third, meeting somewhere in the just below where I ran that black soot across, because I'm just coming in to show you what a wonderful transition it is to go from the direct paper to ink and then take some of that and move it down so that you have a lighter version as you're going to put some dark blue in this transition right here. Now I'm going to take the distress cube again. I start out like this where I'm trying to transition down, but I needed it deep. So I take out the cube. Oh yeah, forget that. Let's just do it. Direct to paper. You want to have, if you're doing like a ship scene like I'm doing on the ocean, transitioning can be a little tricky. So what I do is the direct to paper, and then I'll take my applicator and I'll come in and move it where I want to move it, because distress ink is nice and wet and you're able to move it, and then when it dries it will do the transitioning all by itself. You'll really like that. And then I'm going to come in with a lighter color on the bottom, because this is where the ocean is lighter. Now, I want you to see this. This is Color Box. Color Box ink is not as vibrant as the Stampin' Up! White ink. And I make my clouds with this, with the dragging it. First I start on the edge and I bring it down for my clouds, because it's not an inky ink. And then you can just move it on the side. You can take a sponge to clean it off. There's no problem. I already let the ink dry, so there wasn't much on that Color Box ink. But I'm telling you, this makes the nicest clouds. You can either drag it from top or drag it to the bottom, or drag it from where you want to start your clouds to the top. Move it from the edge of your Color Box ink. Press it down on the edge and then slowly come down and push it up. Then go to the top and press it down on the edge and slowly drag it down to meet where you were before. And I'll show you how we make it look like it's really puffy after we get this look down first. I'm running a lighter blue across the bottom, but I want to have a horizon line. So I take a deeper blue right here and I make it like it's going on the edge of the cube, like it is mountainous. You start out across, you just go up the upper third, and then pounce some color down on the lower color of blue that you made just before that. And you did an ink to paper. Just make little lines through the water, and then take the white again, and you're going to puff out the top of the clouds with the Color Box. You can see how I'm pouncing circles, and then we'll come back to that later, because you want to make it light, and I wanted to make it like there was a storm. Now the waves are very easy with Color Box because you have that pointed edge. You want to swipe it, and every time you want to wave, press on the corner of it, and you'll see that you'll have these waves going all the way across. You have those blue lines that you just took your cube and you went over the corner and swiped it across. And now to get more motion, take a piece of cardboard, fold it in half, take your Stampin' Up! White ink and drag it across the water. Look at that. You have wonderful, wonderful waves. Then you'll come in and you'll run across it with your applicator. Then you'll take black and you'll go across the tops of the water like this, the black soot. And it gives you that three-dimensional look. It looks like waves going through the water. You have that mountainous dark going across the horizon line, and it is stunning. When we end up finishing the card, you will see how it truly looks like water. I'm going to hold it up here, and Now, okay, I'm going to show you here. This is when I take out some of the pounce lines, just dragging it slowly across. And then I want to let it dry because I'm going to come in again. I took that round applicator and I pounced a little bit on the water because I'll show you later on how we're going to get that to transition itself into the water without looking like round circles. So now I'm going to use the Stampin' Up! Set, and we're going to put the ship on here. I put a little bit of tape on my block to hold it down, and then I'm going to decide you want to have the ship just above the lightest ink so that it is on the horizon line, and I used my detail black ink. After I put the ink on, I make sure that I ink it very well so it's nice and wet because I'm going to put some clear embossing powder over it. So we'll stamp it down and we'll apply it to the paper. And when you have this style of ocean scene, sometimes it looks like you used glossy cardstock when you didn't. This is actual 140-pound white cardstock, and just having these dark colors behind there gives the illusion. There's the I think it's called Open Sea. It gives you that night sky, the illusion of having these puffy clouds kind of drifting into the dark section of the upper portion of your card. It is really nice, and I always try to remember to use clear embossing powder so nothing smudges. I decided to put the ship to the left side of the card right here. So here's my clear embossing powder. Then we're going to heat set it, and we're going to move on to make the ship so it looks like it has a shadow in the water. And all you do is get some acetate and stamp it, the same image on the acetate, turn the acetate over upside down and press it into your cardstock. I'll show you that right here after we get the ship heat set. And there you have it. It's looking nice already. And excuse me. And when you put the ship on, tilt it just a tad so it's not perfectly straight. Like make the back of the ship go down just a little bit. Gives the illusion that it's sailing on water. I'm stamping the ship image onto the acetate. I flip it over, turn it upside down, and then you're going to get that wonderful look of having the shadow in the lower light section of the water. It's just a quick and easy technique. There you have it. Press it down. Don't rub it because you'll smudge it. Just press it down and then heat set it with clear embossing powder. Now I wanted to have stars in the sky. So I took a gel pen, a white gel pen, and I made just a little star, you know, those little 5-pointed stars, and then I added little dots around it. And I want you to see the difference between doing that with the pen and then taking your Stampin' Up! Ink and stamping actual stars on there and heat setting it with your embossing powder. The Copic will stay vibrantly bright. The pen, the pen that you used, the gel pen, the white gel pen, but look at how when you heat set it, the Stampin' Up! White ink and the embossing powder faded into the clouds. Look at that. It looks like it's behind the clouds. So having the marker and the ink together makes it look like the stars come forward and the clouds, when they're heat set with the embossing powder, will go behind the clouds because you're using the Stampin' Up! Ink and the gel pen stays vibrant. So the drawings that you do, and that's the ones with the little ticks coming out of the star, that's with the gel pen, the white gel pen, and the other is embossed with the Stamp of Approval star. I found a star in there. And then I'm using the Stampin' Up! Ink and clear embossing powder. Watch how it just disappears. It looks vibrant at the start, then disappears. I did the same with the sun. This is from Paper Tray Ink, the stamp, and look after you stamp it with the Stampin' Up! White ink and use clear embossing powder, it fades into the background, which is the look I was going for. You don't want a vibrant, like a sun rays coming out when it's a night sky, right? So that is a wonderful technique to remember, that when you stamp it and you use clear embossing powder, it will put that to make it look like it's three-dimensional and behind. There you have it. Isn't that sweet? I think it's a lovely scene. Now I'm trying to decide whether to put any more stars or anything on the top. I decide not to. I think this looks just perfect the way it is. And now I'm going to show you how I get the clouds to look puffy. I take that applicator once more, I pounce across wherever I want it to have a little bit more ink, and then I take a baby wipe, yes, a baby wipe, as light as you can on top of your clouds will take those round curves away, and you'll still get the curves, but it will bring out the background of that black, so that, let me just show you there, so that you have this, kind of like put your finger inside the baby wipe and take it around where you want the black to show through. And then you can pounce it again and keep going over each of them. There you have it. I'm doing it again and taking my baby wipe where I want to take off some of the white ink and show the dark, deep color that we ran across. And you can direct the baby wipe wherever you want to bring out the undertone of the color that you put as a base. So now I'm just cleaning off my ink there, and I'm going to take one of my micro brushes and I'm going to put some white Stampin' Up! Ink on the masts, because this will bring that ship forward and it will give it that night look. So everywhere where I thought a mast was in the ship, I put some white ink, and you'll see the difference. It makes the ship come alive. It's not black fading into the background. I also put clear embossing powder because I don't want that to fade. So I add it to the ship to make the masts look like they're deep set right here. And then I'll take my heat tool and watch. It's just stunning. Look at that. You'll get some bright color white and some lower tones. Depends on how much ink you applied with your micro brush. I think it's very pretty. I'm going to have black in the background, but just a tiny portion of it for the frame. Then I'm going to add this purple blue because I think it really pops the blues out in the water. So I'll add that, and then we're going to move on to make the actual map. I took my 90-pound cardstock here. You don't want it as thick because you're going to crumple this to look like a map. So you take it and you just smush it up. Yeah, I'm trying to get it close to show you that the edges I tore towards me to get the paper to be thinner on the outside. I spray it with some water on both sides. So, yep, and then smush it to get all those wrinkles in. We want to look like an old pirate ship map. And the more you wrinkle it, the better. I took it so that I could make the little wrinkles up farther to the outside. I took some distress sprays, and here's the globe in the same set, the open sea I think it's called, and I'm just doing the globe and the map, putting it down with my detail black ink. After I stamp both sides, I wrinkle it up so it gets that weathered look, and then I add my green, my browns, my orange with distress inks. I tap it on there, and I also put turquoise ink. And the reason I put a lighter blue is because this is the focal point. The challenge is maps. I wanted the map to pop off the page, not the ship. So I put a lighter colored blue. And there you have it on all the corners there and on both sides too. And then I curled in the edges. I put some glue from my glue gun in all of the little holes, the four corners. I took my black brads and pushed them into the glue so that it looked like I had an old pirate map. I put my double-sided tape to lift this up, and so it was dimensional, and then I seated on the light kind of purpley blue Stampin' Up! Cardstock, and there you have it. And then the total this total page will seat on 140-pound white cardstock. Next, I wanted to have some tags for the left upper corner above the ship. I wanted to have Bon Voyage, so I found a stamp set that had a round circular Bon Voyage, but I also wanted to have a compass, and the compass is in the Open Sea Stampin' Up! Set. So I stamped them and I used some embossing powder from Tim Holtz. It's very granular. It's nice and thick and it gives it such a nice look when you heat set it. And I'm cutting them out. I'm just fussy cutting them there. And I use one in the front and one in the back. I ended up having to stamp 3 of those compasses just to get the perfect one. So I'll go around the edges and then I'll take some Tombow Monomalti and I'll glue the compass to the back of Bon Voyage. I take another brad, which looks like a screw actually, and I take some twine and I do a knot and I put the brad, that looks like a screw, it's silver, in the upper left corner holding down the twine, and I punch little holes on the top of the both of these round images, and then I seat it to the left of the card. The reason I use the twine and on this, because twine is thicker and it will flip easier, so that somebody's holding the card and it doesn't take long before it's twisted and it goes to the other side. It's a thin twine, but it still is a twine, a little thicker. I'm putting the hole in the compass and then I'm going to glue them together, take my twine, tie a knot in it, and then seat it to the left of the card like I said, and we have our challenge card all finished. And I appreciate you taking the time to watch it. I hope you were inspired, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment and I'll certainly get back to you. I hope you enjoyed this process and that you'll give a night scene a try. And thank you for always leaving me encouraging comments. And to my subscribers, I certainly appreciate each one of you. And we will see you on the next video. I put some pictures for you to enjoy at the end. And thank you, as always, for joining me. Have yourself a blessed week. To my Canadian friends, a wonderful Thanksgiving. Take care, everybody.